Again, this isn't my custom EB02 deck profile. I wait for EB02 to develop a little more for me to start making my own personal profiles. Here we are getting this off of One Piece top decks. Do I think it's perfect? No, but I think it's one we're going to go over today and play. So at the very least, that's what you're going to get. We have the Reiju, the leader effect saying your turn once returned. When you return a Dawn, draw one card. So we go Dawn minus a lot for our Porsche, our Vinsmoke Chiji, our Vinsmoke Reiju. And I think that's really it in this kind of deck profile. It's a very strong list, but not consistent enough for me personally. This is a very high-rolly deck, I think, in the personal build. But if you enjoy aggression, and you can definitely high-roll many times in a row, and it's not only high-roll, so don't think like, oh, just write this deck off and get rid of it. This is a very good deck. It has a lot of searchers and a lot of maneuverability in the current format. We'll start with a Chiji that goes Dawn -1 to play out into Chiji, which plays out the 7-cost of Chiji, which has Rush and gives a character -2,000 power. We have Reiju, which goes Dawn -1 to play out this Reiju, which draws 2 cards if you have 5 or less cards in hand, which means that you would draw 2 cards for this and then draw 1 for a leader effect because you went Dawn -1 with Reiju. We have Sora, which just says discard 1 card, add one of your Germa Kingdom type characters with 4,000 power less to your hand, being a Chiji or Reiju. Very strong options, of course. We're also running the Cassette. I don't even remember her name from the anime, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm fully caught up. So 1,000 power blocker that just says if you have a Germa Kingdom 6 or Germa 66 type character and 2 or more Dawn less than your opponent, this character gains blocker. It's okay, but if we are going to use the Black Maria at all, this will not have the blocker effect because we'll have an even Dawn count with our opponent, so it's just okay. Running the Tony Chopper blocker, and of course, just so you know, I may change this by the end of this, so just be ready because I may honestly change this. But anyways, we're running 4 of the Tony Chopper blocker, which just gives us Arrested Dawn if we have less Dawn than our opponent, and as a blocker that we can cheat out with Porsche and search with Porsche, which says Dawn -1. Look at the top 5, grab a Foxy Pirates type, which is going to be our Foxy 2K counter and our Tony Chopper in this specific build, or itself, which it can grab, which is really nice. Play a 4,000 power or lower purple type character, so that would be our Chiji, our Black Maria, our Sanji. Play Foxy, Sora, Reiju, or Tony Chopper. So a lot of options with the Porsche, and she really excels in this deck list until OP 11, I think, when we get more blue support for Reiju, where we kind of get rid of the whole Porsche Foxy Pirate package. Black Maria, which gives if we have activate main once per turn, it's gain 5 rested Dawn at the end of your turn to the same Dawn count as your opponent. So if we ramp into 8 and they're only at 7, we lose one of those Dawn. But usually this is just a great catch-up method. It helps us get back to an even Dawn count so we can really explode on our turns. Not that we usually need it, but it definitely can help in certain matchups when you're going for lethal, having more Dawn to attach to your characters. We're running 4 of the Sanji, which is just a consistency piece that searches Germa 66 type characters or cards from the top 5 of your deck. The Foxy Pirates is just a searchable 2K, so we run this as a 2K. We have the Black Maria as a 2K, and we have the Sora as a 2K counter. Running 2 of the Gamma Knife for those Eustace Captain Kid matchups. Dawn -1, give up to one of your opponent's characters -5,000 power. Black Bug, which bottom decks a 5 cost or lower. Germa 66, which looks at the top 5 cards and grabs a Germa type character. And Germa Kingdom, which is the Germa Kingdom stage. Discard 1 card, look at the top 3 cards, reveal it to 1 Germa type card, and add it to your hand. Very simple, but really great for consistency. It only really loses out to Braham. Any other deck, though, really doesn't do anything to us, so this is just such a strong, consistent piece in the deck. Now, I would like to go over a few other options. I think upping the Germa, the Black Bug count would not be horrible, especially in the given current format. I think Miji is still a great option. Just being able to bounce a 4 cost to the hand is really great on curve, so I don't mind playing this personally. A lot of competitive players aren't anymore, but I personally like it, and I can see why you don't run it because you're choosing to run Gamma Knife and Cassette instead. But again, I think you could easily go 2 and 2 and drop Gamma Knife and Cassette all together, because then you can use this to KO the Rosinante for only 3 Dawn, and then play out a Chiji to give the Eustace Captain Kid -2,000 power. And Eustace Captain Kid isn't even our biggest problem in the current format. So it's all speculatory, but I think this is a very good option in the deck as well. You have the Yanji blocker, which I don't recommend. It just gives 1,000 plus 1,000 power and has blocker. It's okay, but it's not worth the extra Dawn and the lack of consistency because we wouldn't have our searchers as often, so I don't like Yanji as much in the deck profile. Now, Judge is an amazing option if you're running Niji, but we're not running Niji anymore, so that's the reason we're not running Judge in this deck profile. This just says trash 2 cards from your hand, play up to 4 Germa 66 type characters with 4,000 power or less from your trash. So this is where you go Don -1, discard 2 cards, you play out an Ichiji, you play out Reiju, you could play out Yanji and Niji, which sounds so strong, but it's very inconsistent, so it's something we don't bother with this deck profile running only Reiju and Ichiji. Those are going to be the main targets for this Reiju deck that I would possibly think about adding in or going up in a larger count of, increasing the black bugs, possibly even Germa 66, but now we have the Sanji, so probably not that one. But yeah, just some ideas for you going forward as we go into these games on the sim. I hope you enjoy, as always. As always in EB02, you know we're starting off against this leader, green, purple Luffy. We're going to mulligan this hand, looking for the stage. We do not find the stage, which is kind of miserable for this deck profile altogether. We're probably not going to do much of anything on this turn unless we draw something crazy next turn. I'm not going to play cassette just yet. I don't think it's worth it. We can just play it off course if we don't find something better, but I don't think it's good to have this on the board when we're still such an equal Dawn count. So I think we're just going to swing in for 5 on our opponent. We can then just play down the Porsche, use the card action, go Dawn -1, look at the top 5 cards of the deck, see if there's anything to draw. There's not, of course, but we're getting a little closer to the stage. So we're just going to let that go. We're going to choose no targets. We're going to stack the Ichijis towards the top because they're the most important characters in this deck profile altogether. And we're going to cheat out cassette, draw a card, and pass. So you can see at least we got some kind of draw power there. We do have the Reiju to draw on this next turn, so we have to keep that in mind as we continue this game going forward. We have not found our stage just yet. We'll go ahead and use... If we take here, we need to be able to play 2 bodies out of hand next turn, and we can't Reiju and Porsche. So I think we have to counter out of this just due to the math of needing the Reiju for draw power. See, we wouldn't be able to draw here. So we're just going to have to play out Reiju. So we'll just swing in for 5 at our opponent. We'll go in for another 5 at our opponent. And then we'll play down the Reiju out of hand. That's going to be our best option here because sadly we don't have a consistent way to go Dawn minus. We'll play this out, draw another card, and get a little deeper. We could have Porsche into Chopper, but I don't think that's worth it there. So I think we'll just pass at that point. No, we drew the Chopper. We drew the Chopper off the Reiju. What am I thinking? We do have the 7 cost Ichiji here, so we're going up a lot in Dawn, which is okay. It doesn't do too much for us. We do at least have the Gamma Knife to get rid of the Sanji pudding when it goes sideways. They return 2 Dawn, restand 4 total Dawn. And then we do have cassette. Is that active? 5 to 4. It is not active as a blocker because we don't have 2 or more less Dawn than our opponent. They play when you're at sea, you fight with pirates and grab a Sanji pudding. We don't have a 2k counter, so we will just let the Porsche go, sadly. And they're going to swing 7 at our life. If they swing 7 at our life, we will just take. 8 at our life, we will just take as well. We finally find an Ichiji here, which is a great option for the Porsche. So we are going to Porsche, Ichiji, and then we still have 2 Dawn for... we still have 3 Dawn technically. So we're going to start with Porsche, use card action, go Dawn -1. Look at the top of the deck. There's nothing to grab here, but nothing we needed other than possibly the Sanji to search out the Reiju. So we'll just put them on the bottom in that exact order. We'll cheat out the Ichiji. We'll draw an additional card, which is going to be a 2k counter. We will go Dawn -1 to cheat out Ichiji, give -2,000 power to Zoro, and then we'll go 5 into the Zoro here, just looking to clear the body. And then we can go 6 in a face still, and 7 if they did not counter out. If they counter out, we'll go 6 into Zoro, which is totally okay with us. And then we do have less Dawn, so we do, no, 5 to 4. Still the same amount of Dawn count, so it doesn't really matter, especially because we're about to ramp one up with this Tony Chopper blocker we're about to put on the board. So we'll have at least 1 blocker, which is kind of good. Better than definitely having 0. We go 7, they get to rest down one of our characters. That's totally okay, because we're going to play a blocker, ramp a Dawn, and pass. We're going into 7 Dawn next turn, so we can't Ichiji. We could also just Sora and then play out Ichiji. From grabbing the Ichiji, discarding card, etc. We have Gamma Knife to get rid of the Sanji pudding because we definitely need to clear out this body very soon. They have 6 total Dawn right here, so we only have 7 to 5. This is a blocker now, which is really strong because they haven't minus enough Dawn, or they ramp 2 back with the Sanji pudding effect, I should say. So now at least we do have the blocker. They grab another Sanji pudding with the Nami that they just played out, and they have 5 total Dawn, so they have a lot of options here. They only have 2 really big swings. So 7 into us, we could honestly probably take this, but I think we'll go ahead and... Oh, they have 3 for another Electrical Luna, freezing down all of our characters. That's miserable, because that's what they're about to do. So we're actually going to take this, looking for another 4 cost Ichiji. We don't find one, we get a 7 cost Ichiji, but we can play Sora, discard Ichiji, grab Ichiji, play out Ichiji, go from there. We'll still have 2 additional Dawn, block with Coslot, or Cassette, just while we have it. They're going to tap 3 here for Electrical Luna, and pass. So they're going to leave 1 active. We're going to do exactly as we said here. Play out Sora, use card action, discard Ichiji. We're going to grab Ichiji. We're going to tap 4 here for Ichiji. We're going to go Dawn -1, play out an Ichiji from trash. We're going to use Ichiji effect first, give a -2,000 power to the Sanji pudding. draw a card. Now we have another Ichiji for next turn. We could go ahead and Gamma Knife on this one, but I think I'd rather just swing 9 into the pudding. So we'll go, this is not great math. So I think we'll just go 5 first to start. And I'd really like a guaranteed kill on this Sanji pudding. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think a guaranteed kill does a lot more for us right now. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Dawn -1, -5. We'll swing 5 and a 0 here. And that should just be a guaranteed KO, and then 7 into face. If they have another Electrical Luna, they have another one. We've already seen 2. They Gum Giant out of a 2K counter, so that's really good for us. We could have probably gotten rid of the Sanji pudding without the Gamma Knife, but the guarantee is a lot more important in this situation. And now they played on another Sanji pudding. Really good stuff by our opponent. Now they have 6 Dawn. They could play the Rush Luffy and go, what, 6, 7, 7. Probably not. They don't have a way to capitalize off the Luffy's effect. But we have not seen them use one yet or throw one in the trash, so they probably could have one in hand, but again, we never really know. We haven't seen them draw one specifically that I remember, so we're just kind of playing off some ideas of what could be. We do have a strong amount of counter. We also do have a blocker because they have 7. We're going to be at 7 with our Dawn minus that we may do next turn depending on what we do. We could be in a better spot here, so we just have to see what our opponent chooses to do with this 6 Dawn. If they want to ram into one of our Ichijis, that's okay. We can let one go, keep the blocker, and then block out of another one. It may be better just to ignore the Ichijis just because we don't have any more in trash. They don't know that we have one in hand, so it may be best to do something like that. Just laying it out there. Our opponent goes 7 into face here. We could take and then block out of the next swing. So I think we will. We'll take, we'll block out of this next swing. We also still have counter, so we're plenty safe because we have, what, 3 blockers in hand. So we'll let this slide. It looks like they are going to Electrical Luna again. So we're just going to block out of this 8 here and then probably get Electrical Luna'd. Yep. Looks like the same things are about to happen again here. So to not have to use a card in hand, what we're going to do is 2, leave 1 active. 6 and 8 doesn't really feel consistent enough. We could just go Ichiji, go the safe route, but we need to put the blocker on the board anyways. So we're going to, yeah, I think this is the best option. Ramp a Dawn, tap 4. Our opponent's at 7, we're at 8, so we will be equal or less Dawn than our opponent. So we're going to tap 4 here. We're going to go Dawn -1 to play out the Ichiji we just put in trash. We're going to play out Ichiji effect first, -2 to the pudding. And then we're going to go for 6 into Sanji pudding first, just to get cards out of hand. And at this point, I think that's just going to be the best option. We don't have one thing to do for extra Dawn. And they will go to 9 Dawn, so I guess we could have... No, because they're going to Dawn -2 here if they do have the Gum Giant. So I guess saving 1 for cassette was not the best option. It'd be better just to decide, like, you got it or you don't. If they have a 2K counter, we did see them use a Gum Giant out of a 2K counter earlier. So that's why we swung 6 very consistently and confidently, because now they would need to Gum Giant this attack, which would take cassette as a non-blocker because they would have equal Dawn to us, and we have to have 2 or less Dawn than our opponent. And then we'll go 7 into face here. We still have counter, so we should be good to survive this next turn, as long as they don't play the 6-drop Luffy, which would then have to return 2 active Dawn. They ramp 1, they have 5 Dawn after that, so they play it out for 6. They return 2, they still have 3. They rest down our blocker here. They play the Luffy, they return 2, now they have 3, so they have 7, 7, 7, 7. So what is the best math here? No matter what, they're going to go 7s across the board, right? So 7, 7. I guess we don't really have a way to survive. Dang, that is a horrible trigger right there. It would have been nice to have this earlier because they have not been using their Going Merry stage. We go ahead and get out of this attack. They have to return 2 active Dawn to swing it for 7, and they just have game after that. But you can see how close this matchup really is. It comes down to us literally just not finding the stage. If we found the stage early, we would 100% win that matchup, in my personal opinion. And then he says, suck my balls in the chat. So, hey, good job by our opponent. I think we did pretty well, though, for them finding 3 Electrical Lunas and us not finding a stage at all. So, GG's to our opponent. This is definitely a matchup you can win. I think you could just see the inconsistency there, or the lack of consistency. Same thing, I guess. But, yeah, GG's. Yellow Eustace Captain Kid's going to be an interesting matchup. We're going to take first, as always. I think that's what this deck does. We have 2 Searchers, so I think we'll keep this hand. It looks very consistent because we have our Searchers in hand. This is going to be very important in the deck, and very good that we got this in OP10, because now you can look at the top 5 and put a body on the board rather than just tapping 1 for an event. Puts you a little ahead for little chump blockers and stuff. I would love to grab the Ichiji, but that would be very, very ill-advised. So we'll just grab the stage instead, because we can stage next turn, discard Reiju, play out Reiju, draw 2, look at the top 3, grab a card for discarding the Reiju, and then draw more cards. So it's going to be very strong. We get to draw 1 for leader effect, and that shows you how Uses Captain Kid tries to take all your resources, and we're a deck that can really hold on to our resources pretty well. So I'm not too sure how this matchup goes with the blockers. I think a Chi-Ji really helps with those because we can minus their power. They're bigger blockers. Their 4-drop Basil Hawkins is a little annoying. That's where the Niji is very, very strong in this deck. But again, we're not built for that. Apparently, we're not supposed to be doing that. So we're going to trash the Reiju, look at the top 3 cards, have nothing to grab other than a stage. You might as well just have another card to discard later. We'll tap 2 here, so we'll swing in for 5 first. I just want to make sure we could use our stage ability, and then we'll play out our characters just in case they do take. They should counter usually, but they have 5 life, so you never really know. They do counter, but it was just in case they did get a trigger. We're going to drop this, play Reiju, draw 2, and then draw 1 for leader effect, and pass. So now we have a very large hand size, a free card to pitch next turn being the stage. And we can tap 4 here for a Chi-Ji, or 3 for Chi-Ji if we get a Porsche, and then play out the Porsche, and then play out the Chi-Ji, and then tap 1 Dawn. So 5 and us, I think we go ahead and counter very, very aggressively here. And I think we give them a Tony Chopper because we don't need it at the moment. So still, they don't have a blocker because they use the Kiki Nojo. That's totally fine with us. We basically got rid of its effect of not being, like, it can be KO'd and not give them a life, which is really good for us. Now we have to go with Chi-Ji, so we're gonna go 5 in the face with the Reiju. If they get some kind of trigger here to KO a character, that's okay. If not, hey, that's fine too. We're gonna go another 5 into face, and then we're going to Germa Kingdom first before we get Chi-Ji, just in case we find a better, more viable option, but I don't think we will. We'll trash the stage, look at the top 3. We're gonna grab a Chi-Ji, boom. That's exactly what we needed. So we couldn't have a Chi-Ji'd anyways until we found the Chi-Ji, which we just did. So we'll go Dawn -1, play a Chi-Ji, use a Chi-Ji, -2, draw a stage, and then swing in for 7 at our opponent. You can see the aggression is piling up. Our opponent's down to 3 cards in hand, 1 character on the board, and 5 total life. So they'll have 4 cards in hand here, draw into 1, they'll have 5. So I think you can see the resource management side. We have a bigger board, more cards in hand, and the same amount of life. So we are a little more ahead of the game right now, if that's the easiest way to say that. Now, we have the Sanji blocker, and we have the Reiju to draw cards. So we can let Reiju go if a small attack comes in. I'm assuming it's going to be 6 and 7. 6 into Reiju, 7 into Reiju. We'll counter out of the 6. 6 into us, we will counter out of. We'll give them a Black Maria, because Black Maria is a little less necessary than anything else. 7 into us is kind of wild, but I guess I understand it. Maybe because they're leaving the blocker active. So we will just take the 7. I don't think that's a bad idea for us. And then they show us that it's a draw 2, trash 1 trigger. That's totally fine with us. We're going to play out, we're going to stage first, trash stage, look at the top 3, and grab a Sora. And I think that was a good little play there. We're going to look at the top 4. We're going to grab a Chi-Ji for later, although we cannot use it. And then we can tap 1. We're looking for a Reiju here. So we're looking for a big Reiju. We don't find it, but we find a big Chi-Ji. So that's going to be very good for us. We'll put this towards the top. Black Bug a little above that. Black Bug would have been a very nice choice, but we can't bottom deck the Hawkins yet, so it won't do near as much. Our opponent's at 6. We're at 5, so we don't have to worry about it too much. We're not going Dawn minus here. What we can do is swing in for 5 with Reiju. You're about to see some crazy stuff. Now we will go 6 with leader. And you're like, why do you have 2 extra Dawn? Well, I guess we can't Reiju actually. I didn't think about that. I guess we can go 7. Yeah, we can't actually Reiju because it wouldn't draw us additional cards. We should have gone 5. We can Reiju now and just to have another card on the board, but we won't get the draw from it. That's the only issue, but I think it's worth it at this point. Even though we won't get the draw from the Reiju, we'll get the draw from the leader effect just to have more cards in hand and then build a larger board. So I think I'm fine with how that played out. They still have all of their life, which is kind of annoying, but we're also in a very good position here. They're on 8 Dawn. They could use this Captain Kid to continue putting pressure on life. We counter out of both these attacks. Looks like that's exactly the play here. So they're really just trying to whittle down our resources. We do have blockers, and we're going to stay a lower Dawn count for our blockers here. We're going to go ahead and give them a 2k counter Sora from hand, and then a 1k counter, because we kind of need to hold on to the cassette, don't we? Just in case. I think we're going to give them a 2k counter Black Maria. I think I'd rather lose the 2k counters at this point. They draw 1, trash 1 with Use's Captain Kid effect, which is very good for our opponent. Should we go for clearing board here? That's a big question. We're going to start with the stage, discard a Chi-Ji, look at the top 3. We're going to grab a Reiju, leave Gamma Knife towards the top. Gamma Knife would have been nice, but it is not searchable in this matchup. 4, 2, the Chopper, so I guess that's going to be a bunch of 5s. I think we're okay giving them another life, just to get a body off the board. Map 4, replace Sanji, go Dawn -1 to play out the Chi-Ji. We could also minus down the Kid. I'm actually not against minusing down the Kid, swinging in twice at that. If it takes every card out of his hand, it takes every card out of his hand. But I'm okay with that as well. because I think that puts us in a better position. Because then if we swing in for 7, we could technically go in for 9 next. But I think it will tell us a lot if he does not counter out of this attack. If he does, then we continue to go in. We still have the option. So even if we swing in 7 here, we could put another 7 on and go 7 again. But we're getting every resource out of our opponent's hand. It shows us they don't want that. And now we're going to go 5s into face here. So we know this is a non-trigger, something that doesn't KO anything. So we'll go ahead and use this. They can use it next turn, or they can keep the trigger in hand, or they could use the trigger, draw 2, trash 1 to filter the hand and find more options to play next turn. Our goal is to make sure we don't lose to Useless Captain Kid on the board, which we don't right now. So that's going to be very important. We're going to go in for another 5 at our opponent. They could counter out, but I think you should take in this position. They go ahead and counter out. Do I just clear out Kiki Nojo here? I mean, honestly, what's them having another life? Then they're playing top deck mode. I guess we'll go, our Dawn count's way lower. Yeah, we'll just go 6 into Kiki Nojo. If they want it to die, that's okay with me. They don't really have a viable way to heal. And then we just put down a blocker on the board and then pass, because this is a blocker, because we have Germa Kingdom on the stage, or Germa 66 on the board, and 2 or less Dawn than our opponent, because we have 5, they have 10, so we have 5 less Dawn than our opponent. They play a 10-drop ace here. We just counter out of the 5 very easily here. We'll give them a Reiju out of hand, and then we have a full board. So what's stopping me from just going like 5 in the face? A counter, so we know 5 hits. Do we do another 5? Let's math this out, because we can go 7, 7, 7. I don't think we go for game though, so I don't think we need to go ahead and play another Ichiji. I'd rather have the counter in hand. Granted, we could draw a card, which would be good, but if they get some kind of trigger, I think we're okay, because we have ways to replace our blockers here. We'll go and go 7, and then 7. We should be 100% safe here. So now we tap 3 for Porsche, use the card action, go Dawn -1. We're searching for a blocker or counter. We grab that. We put the Ichiji towards the top, not that we need them because we can replace these. And then we get to cheat out our Chopper blocker. Yeah. And then we get Chopper to give us another Dawn, 6 to 10. Yeah, we're fine with that. We'll go and gain another Dawn and draw a card. And then we could put down, I mean, honestly, another blocker. I think it'd be greedy not to put down another blocker. Yeah, I think it'd be greedy not to put down another blocker. And then just pass. We have 3 active Dawn. We didn't need to discard anything because we need the Ichiji and we have 6k counter, so there's no reason to use the stage there in that situation. We can 100% get out of all these attacks. If they drop another 10-drop ace, we do have the rush option here. So 8-drop Kid gets rid of our life. They have 7, 6, 10, and we can get out of 6 and 7, and we can just block out of the other attacks. We can actually block out of all 3 technically. So I'm kind of fine with this situation. We'll go ahead and counter out of one of these, just in case there's some shenanigans that I'm not thinking of, but we'll give them a 2k counter. Do we have any more Ichijis in trash? So no, we don't. So we actually, if we block, we leave all our cards in hand. We Sora, don't use them, tap 4, replace Ichiji, and then we have guaranteed math. No, we have just guaranteed math. It doesn't matter. We don't need the other rush Ichiji. I'm overthinking it. It looks like it's a close game, but it really wasn't. I mean, you could see we were in the front seat, even when they top deck the kid and do all that stuff. Like, we just block out of these attacks. We still have a blocker. We could technically rush again if we didn't have both of our Ichijis at the bottom of the deck. They get to draw 1, trash 1. Now we just go 7 at face. They can choose to take or not. We know this is a draw 2, trash 1 trigger, no counter. So it's like perfectly fine with us to just go 7. They do have a blocker on the board. I did not think about the blocker. So 1, 1, 4. Trash this. Look at the top 3. We get to grab nothing. That's kind of miserable. Yeah, 1, 1, 4. So I guess we just go 7. It also depends on what's in their hand, obviously. Because, I mean, we could just go 7, 7, 7. I guess we have 7s across the board, too. We block out of this attack. Let's go another 7. Because we have a way to go rush here. I don't know if it would be better to go 11. No, it wouldn't. Because then we can only go 11, 11. And that's not guaranteed. So they get to draw 2, trash 1. So they could draw into better options. The 7 shows us how many cards they have here left after that. So then we can they draw 2, trash 1. They have 4 cards in hand. And we just put everything on leader, go 14, it's guaranteed. Since they used that blocker early, I think that was the misplay. Having that blocker would force us to split our Dawn a little differently, and we probably would have had to 1, 1, 4, but they draw 2 and trash 1. So even if these are all 2k counters, this is still guaranteed lethal. So 14, guaranteed. They can only get to 13 here at most, even if these are all 2k. So GG's to our opponent. We took on Kid and won. I know it looks like we were about to lose or we were in a worse position, but we definitely were the aggressor the whole time, as we should be. Though they did match our tempo very well and did a great job at it, they just fell a little short, and that's not any misplay by them. I think that's just us playing correctly in the matchup. Going into the Kiki Nojo earlier, you know, really trying to prolong the game as much as possible. And then they got the blocker on the board, which is good for them, but GG's, and I guess they don't want to accept it, but hey, we're on to the next one. I'll see you in the next match. All right, you know, we always try to do a little off-meta matchup at the end. Belo Betty not being too off-meta. We're going to keep this hand just because we have a lot of consistency. Our opponent chooses to go first, so we can Germa Stage and Germa 66 here. Going to be very great options here for consistency. They use their stage, trash one card, grab a Rebel Army type card from the top 3 cards of their deck, doing the exact same thing our stage does. They grab Emporio Ivankov, one of the best cards in their deck, in my personal opinion. We're going to Germa 66 first, see what we can find. We do grab the Reiju here. We can put the freaking Tony Chopper, I was going to say the Fox, towards the top. We're going to tap 1 for the stage, discard our Reiju, just because we want it in the trash anyways. We're going to grab a Sanji to search out later, and then pass to our opponent here. This is going to be a very difficult matchup for us altogether because of our options on the board. So we're going into 4 Dawn next. We can go ahead and use the Reiju. They swing in for 5. We're going to have to counter out of this with the Black Maria because we need to have a lot of life, because they are going to play a lot of aggressive options here. They discard Karasu to look at the top 3 again, so we know right now that they have the Ivankov in hand, and then we'll see what else they grab from the Revolutionary Army General Headquarters. Misclick, lol, oh no, and we're going to go ahead and play down Sanji to grab Ichiji. We'll put Reiju towards the top and the swords towards the bottom. We do know that's 2 2K counters out of hand. We can go ahead and discard our stage to look at the top 3. We're going to grab another Ichiji. I think we've missed all of our Porsche, so we can't be as explosive this matchup. We're just going to swing in for 6 at our opponent. If they get some kind of trigger, it does suck for us, but I think swinging in once is not bad, especially because our opponent did misclick. Not too much we can do about it. Can't really play around our opponent misclicking. So we'll play out the Reiju, draw 3 total, 1 for leader, and we grab 2 Reijus and another Reiju. A lot of strong options, but not exactly what we're looking for right now. So we're sitting on about, what, 4K total usable counter here. Because we can use the Sora, we can use the Reiju, we can use the cassette, but we need to keep maybe one of the Reijus we can use. They play 5 cost Ivankov, look at the top 3 cards, play out a 4 cost or lower, or 5,000 power or lower Revolutionary Army type. They have the Belo Betty of their own. So we can either choose to race at this point. This is going to be our options, right? We can either race or we can, you know, go all out. It looked like they used their leader ability last turn. That's what they did wrong. So they're going to go 5 into us. We're going to give them a 2K counter from hand just to stay very proactive and alive. And now we need to decide, are we going to race our opponent? We're going to start with discarding the Ichiji, looking at the top 3. We're going to grab a Sanji. I think that's all of our choppers as well. This may show us we need to rush a little bit into this matchup, since we are going to go down a lot of life here and we don't have any blockers in hand. So we're just going to go 5, 5, and then decide to rush our opponent. Because what we're going to do now is play cassette. Well, we're going to Ichiji first, just in case we find a better option. Dawn -1, play Ichiji, use the Ichiji, doesn't really matter what we choose. We'll go 7 into our opponent, and then we could use the Sanji now to look at the top of the deck, but I think cassette's better just because we do have 2 or less Dawn and the Germa on the board. In case they want to go for board, we can save the Ichiji. Granted, we can just replay Ichiji with the other Ichiji in hand, so a lot of strong options here. Emporio Ivankov can cheat out another Karasu. Karasu can now swing in and make our leader a 3K leader, and so we will be just taking a lot of aggressive swings here from our opponent, because we don't have that many 2K counters, especially into a 3K, so we're gonna have to take, and we can block out of one of these. We're gonna block out of this in case they have some kind of 2-cost Kuma to sprint in at us. And now we are going to go down to 0 life here. 4 into us, actually, we're just gonna counter out easily, very easily. 5 into us, we're gonna have to counter out not so easily, just in case they have another 4-drop that they can play out with some kind of rush option here. We don't have another Ichiji at the moment, so we only have 2 attacks. They only have 2 cards in hand. We really just need them to not play a blocker. They play Belo Betty here. That's going to search the top 5 cards of the deck for a Revo Army type character. And let's see what they draw. You can see me looking already in the chat like, what are we getting here? What are we getting? They need to have that Karasu blocker right now. Tap the 3, play the blocker, and then that would force us. No, we would still win based off math. So yeah, they grab a Kuma, 2K counter. They discard the Inazuma to grab a Belo Betty. They tap 1 for Belo Betty. They're looking for something here, some kind of 2-cost event maybe instead. So now we know they have 9K counter in hand. So this is just simple math at this point. We go in for 7. It would take both cards from their hand. and then we just go in with all of our Dawn. GG's to our opponent. We did take the race and we won. Sometimes you can't take the race and win, but GG's, even with the misclick. So even if they did have the Karasu in hand, they would only have one card in hand. So then we would just go 7, 7, 9 because we have enough Dawn for that. So even with that Karasu blocker, just know we would have won. They would have had one less card in hand from that Karasu being here rather than in here, if that makes sense. Maybe we wouldn't have, because they have 4K counter. So then we would have to go 5, 5, 7, 7. I don't think that would get us there either. Top 3 cards of the deck there wasn't a Chi-Ji, so we could have German 66, grab a Chi-Ji, play out a Chi-Ji, Dawn -1, and then go 7, 7, 7, 5. So 5 would get 1 card, 7 would get the blocker, 7 would get life, and then 7 would get countered, possibly, depending on if they grab the Kumas or not. I don't know. I'm trying to let you guys know if we would have actually won or not with the misclick. GG's. All right, we're going to take our last matchup against Lim. I know I said the last match was the last match. We're going to mulligan this hand, but it's not. So we mulliganed into the worst possible hand that a Reiju can have. 8K counter and a 1-cost blocker. Kind of just horrible. Now, we could trash this card if you have equal or less Dawn in your opponent. We can't do that yet, so we play out Foxy, just draw a card next turn, which we are actually going to do just because of how bad this hand is, because our opponent is going to ramp Dawn. So if we have equal or less Dawn, they will have 4 Dawn, we'll have 4 Dawn thanks to their leader effect. It's our option, guys, because right now we really don't have one. They could swing in very heavily. They could just go 5 at face even, and I think we'd have to take that, which kind of sucks because that puts us pretty far behind, but we need to find more cards at the moment. So we're going to take the 5 because we have to. We find a Porsche. Porsche isn't going to help much right now, but I'm hoping this Foxy will help us filter through the deck and find something. Lim will not restand itself, so we can swing into Lim here, which is very important because we want to be aggressive into their Lim. They grab a Sabo from their hand. We're going to go ahead and trash characters because we have equal Dawn to draw a card. Now we can Porsche into the Chopper, which is definitely not a bad option. At least it lets us draw a card and maybe draw a card with Porsche. We're going to go 5 into the character. They're going to have to give us a 1K from hand to keep their character on the board. I wish we could have swung a little more. Well, we could have swung 6, I guess, and gotten 2K out of hand. I forgot we're playing down Porsche. So Porsche, use card action, Dawn -1. We look at the top of the deck, we lose all of our Reijus and our stage, so we're going to choose none. We're going to put the Reijus towards the top. That's 2 of our Reijus out of the 4, and then we're going to cheat out a Chopper. We're going to use the Chopper effect to ramp 1 Dawn. We're going to draw another card, grabbing a Chi-Ji. Chi-Ji going to be very strong here, and then we can go ahead and play Cassette and pass. So Cassette's definitely not a bad option. We just don't have its ability unlocked just yet, and they don't really have a way to rest it down and run into it, and even if they did, that's fine with me. So at least we have 2 blockers on the board, 1 consistent blocker, because this Cassette is not a blocker as of now. Now they play down 3-cost Lim. That's going to search the top 5 for a Posse-type character, and then if they have 3 or more rested characters, it's going to restand. They will only be able to restand 1 of the limbs at the end of the turn because they only have 1 more body to play out for 3 Dawn thanks to leader effect. So they're going to tap out for 3 here, play probably a Doflamingo blocker or the Sabo, and then Lim, swing in with Lim, swing in with Lim, restand 1 of the limbs. Both the other characters will be rested, which is going to be very good. We're going to go ahead and counter out of this just in case. I mean, I think it's better just because we can go ahead and counter out. I will take this attack though to try to find another option. Add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. I don't think that's necessary at this moment, sadly. I would love to have more Dawn, but I don't think it works because if they do play out a 9-cost Zoro, this is going to be our only way to really remove it. So I think this is our best option at the moment. Now we can Porsche into a Chi-Ji. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to Porsche into a Chi-Ji, use card action, Dawn -1. To the top of the deck, we're going to grab a 2K counter. We're going to move Black Bug towards the top and Reiju a little above that. Then we're going to cheat out the Chi-Ji. Now we find another Chi-Ji. We're going to go Dawn -1 to play out a Chi-Ji. We're going to use the card action. We're going to go -2,000 to the Sabo. And then we're going to go 6 into Sabo. We just need to remove their board. That's our biggest goal. That should get removed pretty easily. If not, we go for another 6 into Sabo, and that's totally okay with us. So it looks like no, we're going to go 7 into Lim, and then we're going to probably just choose to pass. We could have gone 7 with leader, but I think at this point we're at 4 Dawn, they're at 7, so this is a blocker, this is a blocker. We're going to capitalize on these this turn, and I think we just pass at that. We're not going to swing their life just yet. We need to get the resources out of them at the moment, so they're going to go 5 into our character. We'll go ahead and give them a 2K counter. We'll use 1 blocker this turn. We're going to use the Cassette just in case they have some kind of crazy Dawn minus, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. They play out the Sabo. They could play 1-cost Lim. Oh, 6-cost Sakazuki, so they get to blow up a character, a 5-cost or lower. So they blow up our Porsche. They swing in for 5. We're going to go and capitalize on the Cassette just so we don't have to lose more cards in hand. Sakazuki is a little obnoxious here, I'm not going to lie. We could go Sora, discard a Chi-Ji to grab a Chi-Ji, play out a Chi-Ji. That would leave us one additional Dawn there, and then we can swing heavily into their characters. We can go 5/5. So yeah, I think that's going to be the best option. We could Gamma Knife down the Sakazuki, but we need to save the Gamma Knife in case they do play a less aggro version. So we're going to discard a Chi-Ji. We're going to grab 4 cost of Chi-Ji, play out 4 cost of Chi-Ji, Dawn -1, play out a Chi-Ji. The same old, same old. We're going to go minus 2,000 power to Sakazuki here, draw a card, and then we're going to go a lot of 5s into Sakazuki first just to get little cards out of hand, and then we can go 7, and then we can go 8 into the Sabo. So that's going to be my goal here. 5, 5, 7, 8 should at least guarantee one of these guys goes away. We're going to go 7 into Sabo. May get a 2K counter. It does not. And now I think we can start to aggress on our opponent here, swinging in for 7 and leaving 1 Dawn active, making them fear a 1-cost event, though we do not have it. We'll pass our turn. And now we can start being a little more aggressive because we do have a board built up, being Porsche and then both the Chi-Jis here. So we'll go ahead and counter out of this attack with Foxy. We still have the blocker on the board in case we need to get out of any other attacks. If they 9-cost Sora, we still have Gamma Knife, and that's going to be the best unit for that kind of swing. Instead, they are playing the aggro version. They go for Enel, drawing 3 cards, trashing 2, replacing itself, but filtering the hand very strongly. And they have 2 more Dawn active, so they can go 7 into Porsche, and we just block out. We block out so we can have a little bit more room on the board, and then they play out Lim, which will restand the Sabo. So Lim will restand Lim, Lim will restand Sabo. We will go 0 into Lim here, and then we're going to Reiju into Reiju to draw additional cards. So we do have a Chopper here for 2. So it looks like we're just gonna go 6 into Enel. Again, we're just trying to take resources from our opponent's hand, and we don't need to apply too much pressure. So they give us a 2K counter. Now we can still go 8 and 8. So 8 is guaranteed here. And then we can go 7 into face, which is guaranteed there. And then we tap 2 for a blocker. We ramp a Dawn and pass. So at least we have a blocker on the board, and we're sitting on 5K counter. So that puts us in a better position. They only have 3 swings. They play down 5-cost Smoker. They get to restand a Dawn after this. They rest down our blocker. Now they restand the Dawn. They can still tap out for 3 here. So they go 6 into face. We'll give them a Black Maria. And then they can go 6, 6 again, which we can kind of dictate how we want to play it. They go 5 into 0, kind of a good option, but not the best option here. And they're going to go 8 into Porsche, which I think we're just going to have to let go there, sadly. Now we can tap out for 4, Dawn -1, play out a Chi-Ji effect, -2 to the Smoker. We will tap out for 1 here for Sanji. Looking at the top of the deck and grabbing a Sora. Sora's going to be very strong here. So now we can go 7 into Smoker. It's just a 2K counter basically, but we'll take it. Now we're going to go 5 into Ace. Again, I'm just trying to whittle down the resources as much as possible. 7 into Sabo. We'll go 7 into Sabo. We'll go 7 into Life. Then we're going to tap 1 for the cassette blocker and pass. So now they need some kind of rush option, which is impossible in a Lim deck. They can only use the Mihawk here for 3 Dawn, restanding a character, and that would not win them the game. They would have to go, what? Yeah, they were going to do the Mihawk there, so they were going to swing for 8 with Leader, 9 with Lim, 9 with Lim. And we can get out of the 9 thanks to the Tony Chopper. So we, take, block, and that would have been fine. They would have to Newgate for 3. So they have to swing in with Lim, then Newgate, then Mihawk, and that would still not get them the game because we're sitting on 4K counter. So GG's to the Lim. I think we played that literally perfectly, and I don't think they had anything to do in that situation. So GG's, that was actually the last match this time. I hope you enjoyed that Porsche gameplay. I think it has a few tough matchups with like Lucci, just removing the board constantly, especially if you don't find your stage. I think basically it's a I win or I lose deck. There's really not much of a rock, paper, scissors like a lot of other decks in the meta. I think it has a good matchup into a lot of decks when it finds consistent pieces and gets enough of Chi-Jis. If it doesn't, it does not win, and I think it's just as simple as that. If all your Chi-Jis end up on the bottom of your deck, you kind of just lose. Now, I will say it's a very high-skilled deck, and I think you could see that. I'm not saying I'm a high-skilled player or the best player in the game, but I'm a pretty solid content creator. I play this game all the time. I play at locals. I play at tournaments, so definitely think I'm better than a lot of your average players. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video as always. Again, leave your hate comments down below because it pushes me for the algorithm, and I appreciate it so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.